Delta Airlines just providing an investor update, affirming its outlook for the full year and for the March quarter. Delta expects to deliver year-over-year total revenue growth in the top half of its initial guidance range for the first quarter, with first quarter profit mostly above what the street was expecting. Joining us right now is Ed Bastian. He is Delta Airlines CEO. Also with us, our very own Phil LeBeau. Ed, first of all, thanks for being here with us today. Let's talk about this guidance because the initial view is it's a little better, or it's at the high end of your expectations from earlier. It sounds like it's not far off from what the street was expecting, though. You're looking for first quarter earnings per share 25 to 50 cents, street's at 36 cents. You're looking still for earnings per share of $6 to $7 a share for 2024. And you had forecast earlier first quarter revenue growth of 3 to 6%. What are you seeing right now that gets you to put out this guidance?
Well, the revenues are coming in very strong. We're coming in actually to the top half of that guidance range. Fuel prices have also moved up, so that's netted out. So our overall guidance range that we submitted at the start in terms of EPS is coming in right in line with where we thought at the start of the quarter. The great thing about the quarter is two things. One, we're running a great operation. Reliability is back, better than ever. It's kind of interesting because it's 4 years ago this week when COVID really was officially acknowledged, right, and everything just started to go down. So when you look at where we are today versus what we've been through the last 4 years, we're actually in a really, really good spot.
You have a great fan right here.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
It's true. I mean, for Delta, I don't know if he's going to be as effusive with you here for Delta, because it's usually in contrast to another airline that he's trying to say, you're not even close to Delta. But are you willing now with him here?
I have said it many times. You've probably heard me say it on the air.
But now he's here.
I'll say it on the air again. So
don't just say it to contrast poor Scott, what's his, the guy?
Scott Kirby. No, what I've said is, and we've said this oftentimes in the context of unions and employees, that not only is the customer experience
better,
but by the way, this is empirical.
They're
because
happy.
you can look at the different polls and customer satisfaction scores and things like that. And the employees are happy. That's one of the reasons that the employees are that the customers are happy.
Working for you.
And I think it relates. Unfortunately, it relates a little bit to, I think, to some of the union issues that they don't have.
This is Andrew talking positively about an airline.
Well, I love that.
So just write it down.
I love that.
I don't know if I've ever seen it before. It's like that. It's like a unicorn.
Yeah. Well, airlines are tough, right? They're tough to run.
It is.
We got a lot of people. My job is to take the very best care of them. Full stop. I mean, we have people
here's
that.
A question, though. What do you think that you've done? I'm actually very curious that you've done with the employees and with the company so that it, frankly, has not become unionized.
It's in the culture. It's in the values of the company. We're going to be turning 100 years old next year. So this is not something that I have done. This is something that we've done for years, for decades. And it's an employee-first culture. We think about taking care of our people. Our people are by far the best performing in the industry. You witness that, Andrew, every time you're on board. The results they deliver are the very best. Their pay and rewards are the very best. And as a result of that, you put that mix together, it's a perfect alignment of customer, employee, management, shareholder, community that we continue to work and take great care of.
Are you surprised that other airlines have not been able to do the same thing, or do you think that once something's unionized, it's done? We've had that conversation more in the context, by the way, of Starbucks.
Well, we have a union. Our pilots are unionized, right? So, and they're clearly a really important employee set. So it's not about unions versus non-unions. This is about people, and we put people first. And and my job is to take care of them, not to allocate that and let someone else do that for me. One thing I do want to mention on the quarter is that in the last 10 weeks, we've had 9 of the top 10 sales days in our history, all just in the last 10 weeks.
So this idea of the consumer being done with travel, is that over, or is this business travel?
This is travel in total, continuing to accelerate, all forms of travel. And business travel has taken another step forward. We're back pretty close to the levels we were when COVID hit in terms of classic business travel. But we are seeing demand continuing with great strength, and I don't see any let-up. The spring and summer is going to be very busy.
Putting more planes into the air? Is there enough space on, at the terminals to actually put more planes? I mean, part of the demand issue is there's just not enough planes these days. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
There's a lot of supply constraints. Boeing has issues. We all know. The engine makers have had issues. Air traffic control has constraints. So everywhere you look around our industry, there's
these natural
challenges.
constraints, which are good, in some ways good for you in terms of pricing and margin in terms of the competition, or no?
Well, it maintains price stability in the market. But what it also does is it helps us get our reliability to where we need it to be. We're not because we've been focused on growing these last couple of years to get back to where we are now. There will be marginal improvements in terms of capacity, but I think for a couple of years, we're pretty much where we're going to be.
Phil is here, too. Phil?
Hey, Ed. Good morning.
Hey, Phil.
Over the weekend at South by Southwest, you talked about the MAX 10s that you have on order with Boeing. You're not expecting to get them until 2027. Do you think that holds? Because I'm sure you saw the article in the New York Times this morning outlining the safety audit from the FAA, more details about it, frankly, troubling details as you read the article in terms of the number of non-compliance issues that were found in the safety audit by the FAA. Do you think you get the MAX 10s by 27, given everything that's going on at Boeing?
I don't know, and I can't put a date on when we're going to receive it, Phil. The reporter was asking me, do we expect to receive it over the next few years? And I said, hopefully, by the back end of that period, 26 or 27, that we'd have that plane certified. But candidly, it's not an integral part to our strategy. We've not taken the MAX. We don't have any MAX flying. We've got a tremendous partner at Airbus as well that's providing us the lift. And we'll see when the plane is ready, we'll take it.
How confident are you in the Boeing planes that you have in service right now? Because some of these reports are...
Enormously confident. The bulk of the planes that we operate today are Boeing.
The safety record goes back
years.
Yeah, like 40, and they would have had to just suddenly being terrible at what they do, and they've never had any history of being terrible at what they do. But it is concerning. Yeah. I wonder if it's overplayed. Do you think it's overplayed by the media? Something. I mean, people do look for. We want safe airlines, obviously. So you're going to look for every little thing.
There's clearly been changes to the development of this MAX platform that they went through from the engineering, from the sourcing. And I'm not saying it's troubling, but it's different than what they've historically done.
Change meaning
in terms of how the reliance on Spirit Aerospace and all the challenges they've seen of the MAX have clearly been a differentiation from everything we've seen from Boeing historically. So in there, that's where I think the FAA and everyone else is properly focused. And Dave has articulated what he has to do, and we'll continue to hope and watch as he delivers.